Today I'm going to review the Maxzone RV Macerating Pump. Alright, so what is a macerating pump? Well, this is a handy little device that you can use for your RV that allows you to pump out all of your waste, black water and gray water, through a standard garden hose. You can put it directly to a bathroom, or if you have a place to dump like I do on the side of my house. And it allows you to flush it anytime you want at your convenience. And there's an impeller in there that turns, and that grinds all the waste, and then at this point it's small enough and fine enough that it can go through a standard garden hose. It is really a handy little device, and in my case it pays for itself, and I think that's another important thing, because around here, even if you camp, at least the campground I went to, you have to pay to use the dump station. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I'm sure that's not the norm across everywhere, but in my case it is. And so I went ahead and got it. I think I paid about $85 for it, something like that. And it's going to pay for itself in just a few uses. Now, a few precautions. This will not grind sanitary napkins or feminine products or diaper wipes. No, please don't put anything like that down your RV toilet. It will grind toilet paper and waste, and so it just has no problem at all if you do that. But please don't put anything that you think, it's not a garbage disposal, it's a macerating pump for solids. Let's just put it like that. Now, the brand name I got here is Maxzone, and this is a 12-volt connection, and here is the connection it goes, and I'll show you in a few minutes all the rest of the connections. And it pulls 12 amps. So 12 amps is low enough to go into a cigarette lighter, and you can also hook it up directly to your battery. And a few precautions. You can run it dry for a few seconds, but nothing over 30 seconds, okay? There's no priming involved. As soon as you connect this to your RV outlet, and it's just going to pump immediately, and it really pumps quickly. I shot it out there several feet with just clear water just as a test. Now, it comes with this Cleanout right here that accepts a garden hose connection or an adapter that I'll show you in a few minutes. But I am not happy with this, their Cleanout, and I'll explain that why in the test. So I'll put a link in the description below, and with that being said, let's give it a try. Alright, now, so here's our pump, and then we have an inlet here for flushing, and there's a check valve there. And then the kit comes with some extra parts. There's a bag that goes in. The first thing we need to do is hook up the discharge hose. So if you look on at some of the competition out there, a lot of them don't have any means of hooking up to a garden hose. But this here is needs this little short adapter. So we'll just slip this on, and then it comes with this brass hose adapter, and we'll just put that on right there. Got my red discharge hose here. Let's screw that on. Alright. Now I'll show you in a second this. I've got a thing at the side of my house. So here on the side of my house I have a Cleanout, and I had a plumber install this, and this goes right to the sewer drain. So I'm just going to pop the hose in there. If you don't have it, you can get a long hose and just run it into your bathroom. Right now I've got my little angle connector here, so I've got it a little bit easier to get to. And then I've got a little short hose here that's also red, and that way I don't have to put my garden hose directly to this. Well, I probably could. And here's my garden hose, and it's got female on two ends, so I can just use this little extension. Now I've hooked it up, and one thing I really don't like about this is this extremely short cord. So I had to roll the window down, and then I ran it through there. And also the switch is not here. The switch is up there. So I'll go in and I'll turn it on just so you can hear it run. You can hear it, and you can see the impeller running. Now you don't want to run this dry for more than 30 seconds. Okay, I'm just going to carry on. This doesn't have anything to do with the pump. I've got a leak, and that's my supply line. Let's go ahead and drain this tank. Okay, there's the black water. Shut this off. Now I'm going to drain the gray water tank. Alright, I'm going to disconnect this right there. Disconnect it. I'm going to put my garden hose right up to this elbow. Alright. Alright, now I'm going to turn the water back on. Alright, what I'm doing here is I'm going to bypass this. For me, this isn't working, the one that they have built in. So on this elbow here, it shoots directly down the pipe, and then it allows the solids and whatnot to drain out the bottom. This one appears to be restricting and just sort of making everything pile up around here. Now you can see we're now clear, so that's completely cleared out, so I'm happy with that. Shut that off. Clear that out and then shut it off. Okay. And I got both my tanks shut off. Okay, so a few things here. One thing, it pumps very quickly. That's a plus. However, there are a couple of things I think could be improved. This hose and this hose adapter that goes on your garden hose, it's great on this end. Works just fine. But on this end, it's too big. And so I had to really crank that down to get it to stop leaking. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but it's just slightly too big, and I got most of it out of here. This here is the drain port for the flush, and so it's going to shoot it, it looks like at a bit of an angle, so it comes down here. So I think their intention was, you know, to flush it out, but from practical use it's not working for me. And so this is a far superior design right here, because if you look at how they've angled this, this shoots directly down the center of the thing. So let's say if they had it too far low and it shot to the bottom of the pipe, well, you're going to have solids that are going to be stirring around. This doesn't make any sense. Since this shoots the stream all the way down the center, it goes all the way to the back of my pipe, or any pipe, and then the solids drain down through the bottom. And it cleared this out in no time at all with this one, but not necessarily with this one. So from a pumping perspective, I like it. But there are 2 or 3 things that I don't. One thing is this is so short that it's impractical. Now you can buy these extensions, that's no big deal. But as it comes, it's barely can reach anything. It does have a connector like this that you can plug in your cigarette lighter and then go directly to the battery, and I think that's what I'll do next time, because then I can just access the terminal and I don't have to worry about all this buzzing noise and having the key on and off, whatnot. Just take it directly from the battery and be done with it. And so that works. But if you have a motor home that has an engine far away, there's no way this will reach. You'll have to get an extension. So just bear that in mind. It also came with this. What this is intended to do is I didn't attach it, but it will come in very, very handy because it'll have an on-off valve right here at the port. So anyway, this is intended to go in here like this, and then you can put this directly in there. And it's just straight through, there's no check valve. And the check valve is on the device right there. So if you intend to use their flush port, use this. But I just hooked mine up directly, and I didn't really pay much attention to this. Alright, it does come with a bag. This is not a bag to put the pump in. This is an accessory bag. So what I'll do is I'll grab my battery terminal connection, the shut-off valve, and then I'll put the cord in there. Now this is a quick connect right here, power line, right there. That's a standard one that you can get an extension for this, no problem. I'll put a link below so that you can get the right extension. And then it comes with this adapter here. So here's your switch, and the switch is closer to your source than it is to the pump, so keep that in mind. And so, like I said, what I'll do next time, I'll just take this, plug it in here, and go directly to my battery. Alright, that's going to be a lot more straightforward than trying to run it through a window or whatnot through the cab. So anyway, all these will fit fine in the accessory bag. And that's nice, you won't lose them. Here's what I would recommend. The pump is fine, and I think it works great. But I would do is I'd probably get a second clamp and place on here on this brass nipple. That's the first thing I would do. Now, if you would like to use the one that's installed and you don't have an elbow like mine, then you can use their adapter. You just screw it on right here, and then you can install your garden hose right here, the fresh water right here. It's got an on-off valve right here. That's handy. But in my tests, I'm not happy with how this performed. It doesn't have anything to do with the valve not being on my test, but I wasn't happy with that. I would recommend getting one of these, and I'll put a link in the description below for one of these. I find this to be incredibly useful, and it works really well, and it's just so simple. And then just ignore that. Now, what you should do is you should have 2 hoses. This one is marked red, and we've got a male on one end and a female on the other. You're going to need the female, and this end doesn't even have to have anything. And my discharge hose is only like 6 feet. I would recommend 25 to 50 feet so that you can get far enough away from wherever your drain is. But this is just what came with the motorhome, so I'm going to be upgrading this. Second thing is that I would probably get a short extension like this to drain it, so that you don't have to have the garden hose directly up to either here or to this flush point. If you're going to use this one, then you're going to need a male connection. Here I have 2 females, and this is intended to go onto a garden hose and then onto the male connection right here. So if you had a female, then you would be forced to use their shutoff valve, because this, I'm sorry, if you had a male here, you could put it in there, but 2 females, you can do it to here. So it just depends on how you want to do it. But I would recommend doing this with just a standard garden hose and just a short one, so you don't have to connect it directly like I did. But I'm not really that worried about this. It's all the positive pressure going away, but that's up to you. And then the third thing is that I would get a longer extension cord, and like I said, I'll put a link below for that. But all in all, this thing is definitely going to pay for itself, and it's incredibly convenient, because then I can just come home, dump it whenever I want to. I don't have to stop somewhere on the road and then you can't use your system at all again to the next trip. You can just go ahead and use it as much as you want, come home and dump it at your leisure, and you don't have to pay the extra fees that you might see. Because I was surprised. I went camping a few weeks ago, and they said they had a dump station. I'm, well, that's great. And then they had a fee to use it. Well, it was like $20. So you only have to use it like 5 times, and that pays for this stuff, or even less. So it depends on your circumstance, but I'm very glad to have it. It's very useful, and I do recommend getting it.